we keep the idea of a winglet wings kit, this is very much in a similar vein. You've also got companies like Gaspatch Models as well, and they're very much like this one. So having a look at the instructions, it's very clear. We've got very nice CAD drawings of the sprue layouts, showing you everything we've got. So we've got a cardboard jig for setting up the undercarriage. We've got some acetate film, a nice large comprehensive decal sheet, a windshield masks, photo etch, and all of the sprues laid out nicely. There's a good breakdown here with a key of symbols telling you what means part number, photo etched, etc. And then we've got the colour reference, which has got the names of the colours and also the ROM reference as well. So as we start to go through, you should notice just how good these instructions are. I mean, they're extremely clear, all 3D CAD drawings with colour, making sure you know every single part placement. It's really, you know, quite brilliant. So you've got seat harnesses going on there, nicely detailed cockpit all coming together, photo etch wraparound oxygen tank, I believe. Then we've got the fuselage coming together and the gun cover going over the top, creating the front of the cowling. Wings going on as well, and again clear instructions all the way through telling you what needs to be done and what you need to look out for. Horizontal stabilizers, elevators and rudders going on. Optional bomb rack, complete with bombs. Then we've got the two-part upper wing, which goes together with a few small areas that need to be removed for certain variants. And then the ailerons are going on there. Then we've got the struts going on with good placement. Then the top wing comes on. A little bit of rigging to be done, possibly, you know, now or at the end, but it's very clear on showing you where the rigging is. There's the jig being used to make sure the undercarriage sits correctly. Then we've got, speaking of undercarriage, we've got spatted and unspatted wheels, bombs and drop tanks, and then an extremely well detailed engine. This is all injection moulded. It's really quite something. There's no mould lines down the sides of the cylinder heads or anything. We'll have a look at that in a minute. It really is just brilliantly done by Gaspatch Models. Then quite a complicated cowling comes together with very good placement, and it's in 3 parts, and they're all on natural panel lines, so again that shouldn't cause any issue. And you can see here just how much is in the engine. And then we've got windscreens going on, flaps or possibly ailerons, not sure. It's on the lower wing, probably flaps. Windscreen masks going on. Few small panels being added in, and then it's showing you how to rig the machine, and also there as well for the tie downs if you want to do it on a little diorama base. Marking schemes are all for the Stuka Squadron 88. Now you may not know, but Stuka does not mean Ju-87, it means dive bomber, and these were dive bombers, and in Spain they were testing dive bomber capability, so they had a Stuka division which they had these in. They had Ju-87s, there was a few other planes but I can't remember what it was, but it was mainly these two that were going off against each other, and obviously the Stuka won that race, as it were. So all very similar marking options. It's the same paint scheme, but they utilise different colours in different parts of the pattern. So you've got sort of an A or a B scheme, which should be noticeable here. So this is the same pattern, but there's a lot more grey on this one there, whereas in this one it's green. And that's how they did this early pattern. Actually that grey one is probably the most attractive. And then we just go up from 242 up to 245. And it's splinter pattern with ROM 63, 62 and 61 over the top. That's the green, brown and grey. And underneath is 65, which is the blue. Then on the back we've got a little advert there from Gaspatch showing you what else they do. They've got a number of kits. They've got Samson 2A2, late type, mid type, and a Japanese variant of it, as well as the Hs123 as well. They've got 2 other boxings of this, the A1 and the B1. Starting off with the first sprue, it must be said every single sprue in this kit is individually bagged, and it's very well done. So we've got the lower wing here, and you've got 2 different sections, and I believe this refers to how you're going to have the wheels, so whether they're going to be spatted or not. And you've also got a nice selection of different wheels, so you've obviously got 2, 4, 6, 8, so there's 2 sets of wheels there. And there is some minor differences. There's a little block on the back of these four. I assume they're probably for something to do with the spats. So if we zoom in, you'll be able to see that really nice surface detail. You've got some fabric texture there, and very sharp panel lining all the way through here. Very, very well done. And next up, we've got the upper wing and the the top wing and the upper parts for the lower wing, which has the cutouts here and here for the struts that go through. We've also got two small sprues. I'm not sure what they're for, but they look like rails, and they're just in another individual bag here. You've also got the start of ailerons, elevators and horizontal stabilizers. Again, the same level of detail runs right through there. More fabric texture here on the large, on these parts, and there you can see just how sharp that panel lining is. And again, we've got parts to go on the underside there as well to make up the wing. Then we've got the section that makes up the full wing for the top. So this is the lower part, I believe, and this has got the cutout for all the struts, the cabane struts and the actual struts on the side there. We've also got nicely shaped, they are the struts. And then we've got horizontal stabilizers, a nice seat. This is the blind side of most of this, but the seat looks very good from this side. And then looking through here, we've got quite a lot of small details all the way through there. Same level of detail goes all the way through this. We've got riveting on the cowling front there. Hollowed out louvers here on the side panels. Very, very thin part there for the front of the cockpit or rear of the cowling area, with a cutout to take the clear part. Then we're on to the fuselage halves and the cowling here as well for the engine. So all of these parts go to make up the large round cowling at the front where the engine sits. And again, level of detail, repeating myself, but all through here it's really, really great. Very, very sharp, and nice riveting coming in here as well. We've also got sidewall detail there, and no sink marks on the outside where that goes through. A few more cutouts for the louvers here, and raised rivets going on around there as well, which is another thing you don't usually see, usually represented as recessed, but they are raised. And then this sprue caters for the wheel spats. You've got two different types. Oh, maybe not. That one's got a bar coming out the back of it. Very, very sharp propeller blade there, which is angled really well, very nicely. Very fine sprue gates as well, so that should help with that. We've got the engine here as well, and this is what I was saying about the cylinder heads. It's actually moulded in one piece, so although you've got an insert there, it's not flat, so you're not going to have a join along the cylinder heads. There is a very faint mould line running down there, which should come out just with a scrape of a knife. And then we've got the bulkheads and parts that make up the cockpit as well. It's quite a strange makeup of the cockpit on this one. You've got these that are angled, one's like that and one's like that, and then the seat comes out. And then the last of the main sprues caters for a few more pieces. So you've got landing gear, the actual front of the fuselage where the engine mount goes, and then a few small details that go on the inside as well as the bombs here. And there is a little bit of flash showing up there around the bomb. Then we've got the small part for the windscreen. So this is the clear parts. We've got navigation lights and the windscreen there as well, which does have raised rivets running on the bars there. We do get a canopy mask here as well for inside and outside, just to make sure that looks as sharp as the rest of it. Then we've got the cut cardboard jig, and you just push this and assemble it for the wheels to go in here. This part obviously goes in those two parts, and then the plane sits on there with the wheels in there, and that sets the right angle for the undercarriage. An exceptionally good touch there. I won't get this out because it's in a packet, but this is the photo etch fret where you've got the harnesses, which are very nicely done. Again, more raised detail. Glass there for the Revy gun sight, and then just a few small hatches and the cover there for the oxygen tank on the inside, which is drilled out. There's the mask set. You can't really see it on camera, but it is all cut out there. Pre-cut, and you just peel that off, and you've got two lots, one for inside, one for outside. Then the very nicely presented decal sheet here. So you've got some stencil data here, all through there, very clearly detailed. You've got fuselage insignia running along there. You've got the Condor tail, the nationalist tail markings, so that's going on the white rudder. Then you've got the white crosses to go on the tops of the wings as well, or the lower part of the wings, I think, actually, thinking on it. No, they go on the top, so you've got this affair. You've got the normal roundel on the bottom, and then the 2 dots, 2 circles, and the cross on the top wing, and that denotes the early scheme. And then they went to these on both sides. And then you've got the marking options. You've got 242, which is one of the earlier ones, and then 243, 244, 245. These are joined here with some carrier film in the middle, just to make sure placement's correct with those two. They're separate, and then these are in blocks of carrier film along here as well. And everything looks very much in register. It's really quite good. So there we go, that is the inbox review of the Gaspatch Models Henschel Hs123 A1 early in the Legion Condor Boxing. Something I did forget to mention was on the back. This is all in English. This is a complete write-up showing you everything, telling you everything you need to know regarding the construction of this model, where they were used. This is a bit about these specific ones in Spain. This tells you how they actually fared in the German Air Force, and how they came about in production at the top, so that's very good. And this company is based in Greece, so they don't just produce model kits. In fact, that's just a small part of what they do. They actually produce quite a lot of really great aftermarket products for all sorts of aircraft and vehicles even, I believe. I'm not totally sure on that, but I've seen them at Telford, and they've got all sorts of things: machine guns, turned barrels, photo etch sets, an awful lot of things, so they're well worth checking out. They've got the website on the side, which is just gaspatchmodels.com. I bought this direct from their website from Greece to the UK, and it was delivered, within a week. I think it was absolutely brilliant. These are not showing up in the UK quite yet. We had the initial boxings, but this one is showing on Hannant's website, but it's not in yet and hasn't been in for a number of months, so I don't know what's happening there, but certainly you can order it direct and it was no problem. Actually, it worked out just the same price, I think. So there you go, highly recommended, and don't break that saying out too often, but this really is. This is one of those kits that, certainly from my point of view, this will come onto the bench when I really want a, not easy, but a very straightforward, enjoyable build where you're going to fit every single part and actually sort of smile to yourself thinking how good it is. I've got a Wingnut Wings kit for a similar reason. I've not built a Wingnut Wing kit before in my modelling career, but I've seen plenty of them done, and I'm well aware of how good they are, and I'm certain that this one, after looking at some builds, is very much in the same calibre, so you can't get higher recommendation than that. So if it's something of interest, it's not just the Spanish ones, they do the whole range. So they've got 2 boxings, and they're very different. They're the Luftwaffe ones, used all over the place. They've even got some with the yellow over them for the late identification. So it was quite extensively used for the short amount of time that it was in service, in production. So hopefully that's of interest. And if you haven't already, please consider giving the video a like, subscribing to the channel, let me know any comments down below, and I'll see you in the next video.